My friends, life is a gift, a journey filled with opportunities, challenges, and divine purpose. But along the way, there are people who can either lift us higher or weigh us down. Too often, we allow the wrong influences to drain our energy, cloud our vision, and pull us away from the joy and peace we were meant to live in. Today, I want to speak to you about 6 types of negative people you must recognize, and how setting healthy boundaries can protect your spirit and preserve your strength. First, beware of the constant complainers. These are the people who see a problem for every solution. Their words are filled with negativity, and their perspective is always clouded by what's wrong instead of what's right. If you stay around them too long, their outlook becomes your outlook. Protect your heart by not letting their constant discouragement poison your hope. Second, guard yourself against the critics who never build but only tear down. Correction spoken in love can be a blessing, but relentless criticism rooted in envy or bitterness will wear down your confidence. Do not give their words power over your destiny. Remember, you are not defined by the judgments of others, but by the one who created you. Third, watch out for the manipulators. These are people who take advantage of your kindness, twisting your compassion into a tool for their own gain. Love them, yes, but don't surrender your peace for their control. Boundaries are not unkind, they are wise. Fourth, beware of the gossipers. Gossip destroys reputations, divides friendships, and spreads mistrust like wildfire. When you lend your ear to gossip, you become part of the chain that tears others down. Choose instead to be a voice of truth, encouragement, and honor. Fifth, distance yourself from the envious. Envy is a poison that can corrupt even the closest relationships. Those who cannot celebrate your success will quietly resent you. Their energy pulls you down instead of pushing you forward. Surround yourself instead with people who rejoice with you, people who clap when you win and support you when you stumble. And finally, beware of the pessimists who see no light, no hope, no future. While we must show compassion to those struggling with despair, we cannot allow their darkness to extinguish our flame. Your vision, your faith, and your hope are too precious to be suffocated by unrelenting negativity. My friends, setting boundaries is not an act of selfishness. It is an act of stewardship. You are entrusted with a soul, a purpose, and a calling. Protect that calling. Guard your energy. Choose wisely the voices you allow into your life. Surround yourself with people who speak life, not death, hope, not despair, encouragement, not defeat. And let us remember this: our strength is renewed not by pleasing everyone around us, but by aligning ourselves with truth, love, and wisdom. When you set boundaries with negative people, you are making room for peace, joy, and the right relationships to flourish. So I urge you, don't let these 6 negative influences drain your spirit. Stand firm, walk with courage, and above all, protect the light within you, for it is meant to shine brightly in this world. Choosing uplifting relationships is one of the most powerful decisions a person can ever make. The people you allow into your inner circle directly shape your thoughts, your attitude, and even your future. When you surround yourself with individuals who inspire, encourage, and believe in you, their words become fuel for your growth. Their presence lifts your spirit, strengthens your confidence, and helps you move forward even in the face of challenges. Life is too short to spend it weighed down by negativity, so we must be intentional about walking with those who bring light rather than darkness, hope rather than despair. When you choose uplifting relationships, you choose to walk with people who celebrate your victories instead of being jealous of them. These are the friends and companions who clap when you succeed, who stand by you when the world turns cold, and who remind you of your worth when you begin to doubt yourself. Their encouragement acts like a mirror, reflecting back to you the strength and value you sometimes forget you have. It is in their presence that you find yourself dreaming bigger, taking bolder steps, and realizing that you were never meant to walk alone. An uplifting relationship does not mean it is free of truth or correction. In fact, the people who truly care about your growth will not just comfort you, they will also challenge you. They will tell you when you are drifting off course, but they will do it in love, not in criticism. Their words don't cut you down, they build you up. This kind of correction is not to shame you, but to strengthen you. When you have someone like this in your life, you are richer than gold because they are not only committed to your success, but to your character. At the same time, uplifting relationships protect you from despair during your lowest moments. Life is full of unexpected storms, loss, setbacks, disappointments, and heartbreaks. When those moments come, the voices you have allowed close to you will determine whether you sink or rise. Negative people will magnify your pain, tell you it's hopeless, and strip away your courage. But an uplifting friend will remind you that the storm will pass, that the night will not last forever, and that you still have a purpose beyond the pain. They will sit with you in silence when words are not enough, and they will hold up your arms when you feel too weak to continue. It is also important to realize that choosing uplifting relationships does not mean isolating yourself from the world. We are called to show compassion, kindness, and grace to everyone. But there is a difference between loving all people and allowing all people to influence the deepest parts of your life. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Not every voice should be permitted to speak into your destiny. The inner circle must be carefully chosen because it shapes the person you become. Think about it, iron sharpens iron. If you walk with the wise, you become wise. If you surround yourself with the hopeful, you begin to see possibility. If you connect with the faithful, you learn to trust in greater things. But if you continually dwell with complainers, critics, or those consumed by envy, your spirit will be drained and your vision clouded. Who you walk with determines the atmosphere you carry within your heart. Choosing uplifting relationships is also a way of honoring yourself. You were created with value, purpose, and a unique calling. To protect that calling, you must guard the environment that feeds your soul. Just as a gardener removes weeds to allow flowers to bloom, you must sometimes remove negative influences so that your life can bear fruit. The right people are not perfect, but they will water the seeds of your potential rather than choking them. They will breathe life into your dreams rather than suffocating them with doubt. My friend, life is too precious to spend it surrounded by voices that tear you down. You owe it to yourself, to your future, and to your purpose to choose wisely. Seek out those who encourage, those who challenge with love, those who believe in your best, even when you cannot see it yourself. And when you find them, treasure those relationships, for they are rare and priceless gifts. So I urge you today, choose uplifting relationships. Walk with those who light the path ahead, who remind you of hope when darkness closes in, who inspire you to be the best version of yourself. Their influence will not only shape your journey, but also help you shine your light more brightly in this world. Life is too precious to waste by allowing the wrong people to steal our peace and drain our energy. Every day, we are surrounded by voices, and not all of them are meant to guide us forward. Some voices lift us, strengthen us, and remind us of our higher calling. But there are others that slowly pull us down, cloud our thinking, and weaken our determination. If we want to walk in strength and joy, we must learn to recognize the 6 types of harmful influences that creep into our lives. The first influence to watch out for is the constant complainer. These are people who seem to carry a dark cloud everywhere they go. No matter how good the day is, they will find a reason to be upset, no matter how much is given to them. It is never enough. Their negative words are like a dripping faucet, wearing away at your peace little by little. If you're not careful, their dissatisfaction will start to shape your perspective until you too begin to see only what's wrong. That is why you must set boundaries. Show kindness, yes, but do not let their complaining become the soundtrack of your life. The second influence is the harsh critic. Now, correction spoken in love can help us grow, but there are people who never aim to build, only to tear down. These critics don't point out your flaws to help you. They do it to weaken you. Their words are sharp, their tone cutting, and their motives rooted in jealousy or bitterness. If you measure your worth by their opinions, you will never feel good enough. The truth is, you are not defined by what others say about you, but by the purpose for which you were created. Do not surrender your confidence to the voice of relentless criticism. The third type of harmful influence is the manipulator. Manipulators are skilled at twisting your kindness into weakness. They tug at your compassion, not because they value it, but because they want to use it for their own advantage. If you let them, they will drain your energy, time, and even your joy, leaving you empty while they move on. Love them, but set boundaries. Saying no is not cruelty, it is wisdom. Protecting your peace allows you to give freely to those who truly need your help, instead of those who only want to exploit it. The fourth influence you must recognize is the gossiper. Gossip is a poison that spreads faster than fire. It destroys reputations, divides relationships, and creates suspicion where there should be trust. When you entertain gossip, you become a part of the problem, even if you never intended to be. Words have power, and when they are used carelessly, they can wound deeper than any weapon. Choose not to lend your ears to gossip. Instead, be a voice that brings healing, encouragement, and truth. The fifth harmful influence is the envious person. Envy is a silent enemy that disguises itself as friendship, but it cannot celebrate your success. When you rise, envy becomes resentment. When you prosper, envy turns into bitterness. These are people who smile in your face, but feel anger in their hearts when you excel. If you surround yourself with envy, you will always feel the pressure to shrink so others feel comfortable. But you were not created to shrink. You were created to shine. Walk with those who can celebrate your victories as if they were their own. Finally, beware of the pessimist. Life already carries its share of difficulties, and while compassion for those who struggle is essential, surrounding yourself with constant negativity can suffocate your hope. Pessimists see no light, no way forward, no reason to try again. If you're not careful, their hopelessness will weigh down your faith. The truth is, there is always a reason to hope, always a chance for change, always a future waiting to be embraced. Protect your vision by keeping your distance from those who only predict failure. Recognizing these 6 harmful influences is not about cutting people off with coldness or bitterness. It's about protecting the treasure of your heart and guarding the energy that fuels your purpose. Boundaries are not walls of hatred, they are shields of wisdom. When you refuse to let complainers, critics, manipulators, gossipers, envious people, and pessimists take root in your life, You create space for joy, encouragement, and uplifting relationships to flourish. At the end of the day, your life is shaped by the voices you allow closest to you. If you surround yourself with negativity, you will carry that same weight. But if you walk with people who speak faith, hope, and love, you will find yourself stronger, braver, and more at peace. So protect your heart, guard your mind, recognize the harmful influences, and set boundaries that keep your spirit free. Protecting your spirit by setting boundaries is one of the most vital disciplines in life, because your energy, your peace, and your calling are treasures that must be guarded. Many people live their days constantly drained, not because of the work they do or the responsibilities they carry, but because of the company they keep. The voices we allow around us shape our attitudes, influence our emotions, and often determine the direction of our lives. That is why learning to recognize harmful influences and drawing healthy lines around your heart is an act of wisdom, not selfishness. When you protect your spirit, you are saying that your peace matters. Too often, we allow negative people to invade our space without realizing the cost. Their complaints, their criticism, their gossip, and their envy become a burden that slowly weakens our hope. What begins as a small irritation can turn into a heavy weight if we do not guard ourselves. Setting boundaries is like closing the door of your home to thieves. It is not hatred, it is protection. Just as you would not let a stranger walk into your house and take your belongings, you should not allow destructive voices to rob your joy. Clarity and strength. Think about the power of influence. If you spend time with people who constantly see the worst in life, eventually you will begin to echo their perspective. If you keep company with those who criticize and tear down, you may begin to question your worth and your abilities. But if you surround yourself with encouragers, visionaries, and people of hope, their faith and optimism will strengthen you. Protecting your spirit through boundaries is not about rejecting people. It is about choosing life, giving relationships over life, draining ones. One of the hardest lessons to learn is that love and boundaries go hand in hand. Many believe that saying, "No," is unkind, but true love never enables harmful behavior. If someone manipulates your kindness or drains your energy, it is not cruel to set limits, it is necessary. Real compassion is being able to help without losing yourself in the process. Boundaries allow you to keep giving from a place of strength rather than depletion. Without them, you risk burning out, resenting others, or losing sight of your own purpose. Protecting your spirit also means guarding your conversations. Words are powerful. They carry life or death, hope or despair. When you entertain gossip, you not only harm others, but also stain your own heart with suspicion and negativity. Boundaries mean refusing to engage in discussions that destroy rather than build. They mean choosing silence over slander and uplifting words over criticism. Every conversation you allow into your ears either deposits life or drains it. Be intentional about what you hear and what you speak. Another part of setting boundaries is recognizing envy and distancing yourself from it. Envy is subtle, but it poisons relationships. If those around you cannot celebrate your victories, they will eventually resent them. Their bitterness can dampen your joy, making you feel guilty for the blessings you have worked for or prayed for. Protect your spirit by surrounding yourself with people who genuinely rejoice with you, who clap when you succeed, and who stand beside you when you stumble. Those are the people who nourish your spirit, not deplete it. Protecting your spirit also requires courage. It is not easy to say no, to walk away, or to refuse entry to people who have always been close to you. But remember, Courage is not the absence of compassion. It is the presence of wisdom. Your calling, your peace, and your joy are too valuable to be handed over to anyone who does not honor them. Boundaries may cause some to misunderstand you, but in the long run, they will keep you strong, balanced, and focused. In the end, protecting your spirit by setting boundaries is about stewardship. Your energy is a gift, your peace is a treasure, and your purpose is sacred. Do not allow constant complainers, relentless critics, manipulative voices, destructive gossipers, envious hearts, or hopeless pessimists to drain you of what makes you shine. You were not meant to live in constant heaviness. You were meant to live in freedom, peace, and joy. Guard that light within you. Nurture it. Protect it. And let your life be surrounded by voices that lift you higher, not ones that weigh you down.